let us begin. This will be our basis for standing here in all standing mobility that we are going to do. Starting with our foundation of the feet. I want you to think about dual pistols in your holsters here. And if both of those guns went off at the same time, I don't want you to hurt your feet. So truly hip width apart. Now I want the inside lines of your feet tracking parallel to each other. So for some of us, myself included, that will mean that you are ever so slightly pigeon-toed. So again, inside lines tracking parallel, just like a railroad track. Want to take any unnecessary curve out of your lower spine, so kind of tucking tail there just a little bit to get to neutral. Then from here, a nice proud chest. So from the side, trying to take the curve out of mid-back there, driving your shoulder blades back and your chest forward, kind of rotating your rib cage underneath like that, kind of soft knees here, and then no texting neck. So tucking the chin back. If it helps too, to bring your shoulders down, you could plant your fingers into the ground, just like that. So even though we're standing, there should still be a lot of tension in the body, holding it in that position. To mobilize, if you have tension below and tension above, the area that we're working is getting more of the benefit. You're not losing your power in any direction. So again, starting in our neutral position, standing nice and tall, nice soft bend in the knees. The invisible work for this part is I'm pushing down into the earth and trying to spread my feet apart without moving them. Think of it as like you're trying to split the carpet between your legs. From here, we're going to take a big deep breath in, and then on an exhale, we're going to tuck tail, kind of like a scared dog. Inhale back to center, and then exhale, you're going to roll the booty back. Big inhale to center. We're going to follow our breath for all of these movements. And then exhale, follow through. I'll show you from the side. Going to inhale in, and then exhale, tuck tail. Inhale to center neutral. Exhale, roll the booty back. Just like that. As you notice, as I'm going through these movements, my collarbones are remaining stable here. So I'm not bowing forward into it or rolling back like this. This is a very controlled, very small movement here. So just tucking tail, just like that. You're gonna roll through each of these for about 10 to 15 reps. Inhaling to center and exhaling to either side. Next, since we did front and back, we're going to do side to side. I want you to imagine a belt buckle around that position of your belt buckle, and that is our axis for rotation. So you're gonna straighten the left leg so you could bend at the right and drop that hip down. Again, the relationship of the upper body staying nice and vertical. Inhaling to center, so both of your knees are soft again, and then we'll straighten the right leg so we could drop the left hip. Inhaling to center and exhaling through to either side. To increase the range of motion, what is pretty common to see is people will roll the booty back and get a little bit more rotation here. It's less about your range and more about the tissues. So I want you to keep this neutral and then just side to side. Again, the relationship of the upper body staying nice and vertical. A good visualization for these first movements, or you could do it behind a counter and still make eye contact with somebody in front of you. They might not really know what you're doing behind the counter. Again, inhaling to center, exhaling to either side. And we're going to combine these first two movements to create a circle. You'll see this theme a lot as we roll through the different joints. So from here, we're going to go out to the side, tuck tail to scared dog, pick it up on the other side, and roll it back and around. You have a long, slow, really grindy hula hoop pattern. So what that's doing is kind of spinning and rotating all of your lowest vertebrae. Again, attaching your breath to the movement. It's a wonderful habit to get into because that will create stronger lifts for you once we get into a workout. Once you've done a handful of rotations in one direction, you could stop here at 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, or either side, wherever you're at, and just switch directions. Make sure you're keeping up that tension the whole time. Good, so like I said in the beginning, starting at the lowest spot, and then we're gonna work our way up. So working our way up, what that looks like next is gonna really root down into the ground, spreading the earth apart. We're gonna bring our hands out to either side. So really locking in that lower body, like standing really, really hard. Gonna take a big breath in, and then you're gonna exhale and reach along the path of your arm. Inhaling back up to center, and then exhaling, reaching out to the other side. Just like so. So lower body staying static, not moving at all, as we're going out and along these lines of your arm. Good, now from here, we go left arm down, right arm up. Left arm is gonna cross the body, pointing to the right side, driving that shoulder back and down away from your ear, as the right hand is gonna come up and over. To get the most out of this, I want you to bring your ribs on the expanded side. Bring those down like you're bracing for impact, and you should feel a good stretch. I'm gonna switch sides. Left arm up, right arm down. Right arm reaches across and low. Left arm up and high. Ribs are bracing for impact. And back up and switch. Again, rolling through this as you can feel tension in the body and that stretch and pull as you're pressing your hands in opposite directions. Keeping on theme and moving up the spine, you're going to take your knuckles and put them together. Your fingertips are going to go to your sternum. I'll turn to the side so you can see the most of this movement. You're going to inhale your chest into your fingertips, driving your shoulder blades back. And then as you exhale, shoulders roll forward. Shoulder blades are sliding along the rib cage. As you send your shoulder blades forward, your spine goes back. Chest is caved in, inhaling into your fingertips nice and strong. Chest is forward, shoulders are back, and we're just gonna roll through these in tune with your breath. Good. Good, just like that. Inhaling, chest forward, and then exhaling, chest caved, spine back. We're gonna move up and out just a little bit to get ready to get into the neck. So again, with our neutral position here, standing tall and hard, everything stacked and packed. Gonna bring your shoulder blades back together and roll them up like a big shrug. Like, I don't know how fast I was going, officer, or I don't know where the cookies went. All the way back down and a circle back to the bottom, and then we're gonna retrace our steps. Shoulders rolling forward, climbing up, 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 up. Once you get to the apex, you can bring it back and then squeeze them down. As you're driving them down, pushing with your fingertips and engaging the lats, these big muscles along your ribs. So inhaling the shoulders up, exhaling, driving them down. So if this is a clock and 6 o'clock is at the bottom, 12 o'clock's at top, you're gonna start and stop at 6. Good, for these next ones, you're going to adopt a position of like a pharaoh in his sarcophagus here. So think like a mummy, which you push down on your collarbones, squeezing the lats. For this, the invisible work is going to be a little clench in your jaw. So you're gonna have pressure below, pressure above, mobilizing in between. So from here, you're gonna push the collarbones down, clenching your jaw slightly. Gonna look straight up to the sky. Inhale to center, and then exhale, staying nice and tall throughout the neck. I want you to go and smash your face down, trying to get as many chins as possible. Inhaling to center and exhaling, driving it up. Good. From here, same positioning, so still pushing the collarbones down, still clenching the jaw. We're gonna go side to side. Inhaling to center, exhaling to the other side. It's a similar motion to a very confused puppy. Now, just like how we did with the lower body, we're gonna combine those motions. So, kick it off to the side, confused puppy, staying tall through the neck. Rotate it down, pick up that confused puppy on the other side, and swim your chin up to the ceiling and all the way around. All the while doing this, keeping your lats engaged, standing nice and hard, nice and tall, and not using your jaw to talk like I'm doing right now. After a handful of rotations, switch it up, do the other side. Also make mental notes of where you are feeling tension in your body while you're rolling through these rotations. Awesome. So by doing all of those movements, we just stopped in and said hi to all of the major parts of our spine there. Now we're gonna move to our shoulders and run out to the fingertips here. So to pressurize the arm, I want you to push your shoulders back, nice and proud here, as you drive your fingers down. This creates a shearing kind of motion as you're pushing and pulling like this. So here and there, we'll start with the right side. So kind of pushing the thumb down as you pull the shoulders back. Gonna send it back, pinky edge to the wall until you cannot any longer. And then you're gonna flip, so your thumb is facing up. You're gonna roll up and around in a circle. Now I say circle, might look like an oval. You might even have a very geometric shape going on. That is awesome, as long as you're pushing to your end range and not pushing through your end range. So to tension, not through tension. The bonus part of this as you get up nice and tall is again bracing the ribs. So pulling those same side ribs down helps. You could even put your hand there to make sure you're not flaring the ribs to get a little additional height. It's not about the height or making it look like mine, it's about finding your own end range and working that. Like before, get through a handful of rotations, you go ahead and switch directions. So thumbs coming up to the ceiling, to the back wall until you cannot any longer, and then you're gonna rotate and bring it back around. Inhaling the arm up and exhaling through the side. Just by doing this, you should really feel the heat starting to generate in your shoulder and delt. So we'll do the same thing on the other side. Doing the arms separately is a really good way to find disparity in between. Everyone has a favorite side, and I'm willing to bet you are not exempt. So by rolling through this one side at a time, you might be like, ooh, my rotation back here feels a lot different than it does on my other side. All important things to keep note of. So rolled through a handful that way. Let's switch directions. And again, arms come up, ribs stay down. Now you could take a pause here. At 12 o'clock, bring the other arm up to match. I don't want you to reach up, bringing your shoulders to your ears, but I want you to bring your arms down, standing nice, soft knees here, but still legs engaged, and we're gonna do little tiny rotations here. So this should really start to feel the heat building in your shoulders. If you want to warm up mentally, you could do figure eights on the shoulders up here, and then have all sorts of fun when you reverse your figure eights. Should not take very long if you're pressurizing well to really feel the burn. So we're going to take this rotation, I'm going to bring it down, out to either side. So again, pushing the arms back so they're as close to neutral here as possible. This is a movement that you could do if you're trapped in between two walls. Again, thinking about the base and how you're standing as you draw these little circles and really heat up the tops of your shoulders. Go ahead and switch directions. Fantastic. If you need to shake it out real quick, we're going to do some rotations now. So hands out to the side, but this side we're going to do big open hands. So with the right side, you're going to go palm down, palm behind you, and then keep rolling it over, fighting for that elevation. So not rolling and dropping the arm down, but keeping it up as high as you can. Left hand is going to go in the opposite direction. In, big inhale back to neutral. Exhale. Big inhale back up. And exhale, flip it the other side. Beautiful. So, like I said, if you're getting that shear of that push-pull, extending your arm forward, but pulling it back at the shoulder, you should really, really feel some heat generating here. These next couple can be kind of tricky, but you'll know you're doing it right because when I say extend your arms, it should be very difficult. So again, from here, I want to make sure we're not rolling the shoulders forward. We're bringing it back. Nice proud chest. And go thumbs in, pointing at each other. I want you to bring your knuckles together. So now your thumbs are pointing straight up to the sky. These elbows are sticking out a little far, so I want you to bring your elbows to your side. That will separate your knuckles. Continue that rotation so your thumbs are pointing now left and right. You have this nice relationship with your elbows in your lower body. Keep that relationship, keep them nice and tight. As you rotate, woo, and point your thumbs straight to the back wall. Now take a big deep breath in, continue pointing at the back wall as you extend your arms. And if you're doing this correctly, it should be kind of a holy moly kind of moment here when you go to extend your arms. You should feel all that tension that you just built up. I'm going to rotate the thumbs back forward, swim them down, do it again. So knuckles together, thumbs up. Bring your elbows down to the sides, separating your knuckles, then keeping that motion going, pointing your thumbs out left and right. Keeping the elbows nice and tight to the body. Rotate, nice proud chest, so you're pointing right at the back wall. Big breath in, and then exhale. Extend, still pointing back. Rotate forward, one more time. Knuckles together, thumbs up. Peeling the knuckles apart, planting the elbows down to the side, keeping the elbows nice and tight to the side as you rotate back, and then extend on an exhale. Now with your thumbs pointing forward, we're going to get ready for the next variant of this. And you can go thumbs here. So again, we're not reaching with our shoulders, but bringing the shoulders back, squeezing them in together, but still extending through the knuckles. Just point to yourself with both of your thumbs. Then thumbs are going to follow your collarbones going out to either side. So your elbows are almost making a forklift here. Your thumbs are pointing straight out to the sides. Continue that rotation by bringing your elbows in together. So kind of squeezing in the chest here. Thumbs are pointing to the outside actively. And then big breath in. And then you're going to exhale and extend your arms. Again, you should be feeling tension throughout your arm as you rotate and go through this. Again, pointing at the boss, that's you. Now elbows forward, thumbs out to the sides. Elbows in. Thumbs trying to point forward with as much rotation as possible. Big breath in, and then exhale. One last time. Thumbs in, elbows out. Now we're gonna go elbows forward, thumbs out. Elbows in, thumbs trying to point forward, and then extend. And let it down. Beautiful. I'm gonna bring it up, think kind of T-Rex arms here. So arms are at a 90. Again, not rotating forward here, but still nice and neutral. We're going to go down in a nice squeeze with your left and up. Nice squeeze back with your right. Inhaling to center and exhaling, switching sides. Just like so. Should feel that real big squeeze in your forearm, in the bottom of your forearm where you go down, and on the top of your forearm as you go up. This is going to be super duper important for all of the kettlebell moves that we're going to do with the heavy forearm focus. Everything in your hand is controlled in your forearms, so making sure that you show love to that is going to be important for following through with this program or lifting anything with your hands. Just like the neck and the hips, we went up and down, or forward and back. Now we're gonna go side to side. So keeping your hands nice and parallel, if you can imagine holding your favorite beverage on top of each hand, just rotate to bring your index knuckles in towards each other. Inhale to center, and then exhale, pinky knuckles going out. Think almost like the same motion you'd use to use a flat brush to paint a fence. We're just flipping it on its side. Inhaling to center, then exhaling to flexion. So you're pressurizing the arms here. So squeezing the elbows in, getting that nice tension above, squeezing your knuckles in together, tension below. So really working the wrists and the forearms. Just like the neck and just like the hips, we went front, back, we went side, side. Now we're gonna add rotation. Again, just finding your breath here, keeping with the rhythm. As you work the end range, whatever your end range looks like. There could be a big difference right to left, and that's something to note, but that is not something to avoid. So just finding your end range, working up to it. We're just kind of flirting with it for this entire warm-up. Again, just like the other moves, we went a couple rotations one way, we'll go back the other way. All right, now we're gonna get into the fingers before we jump back down to the lower body. So starting with your fists in this nice 90-degree elbows here, we're gonna start opening your hand one finger at a time, starting with your pinkies. You should flip palms up and then close with your pinkies. So open with the pinky, close with the pinky. Now we're gonna open with the thumb and then index finger. Throw all the rest of your Piggly Wigglies there, flip it, index finger, thumb. And we're just gonna roll through that, whatever your end range kind of looks like here. This is kind of a rave vibe, hand dancey kind of movement here, but you should really feel every little part of your forearm that controls each finger. So as your fingers dance around in a circle, you'll feel it start to hit different parts in your forearm. Again, anything with cables, free weights, any sort of physical exercise, this is gonna be wonderful to do, just to wake up your forearms and make sure that all 10 of your little friends here are on the same page. Good, you got those big rotations and flexions and squeezing. It's a lot of work here, finding your end range. These are not passive things to do. Beautiful. We said hi to the spine. We went out to the fingertips. Now we're gonna go back into the lower body. So this whole entire thing up until this point have been hip width apart. We're gonna do some single leg standing stuff. So I want you to bring it into a nice skinny base here. Getting nice and stable, and if you need to use something to hold on to stabilize yourself, that is absolutely fine. Put your right foot in, and then to pressurize, you're gonna kind of rotate that hip back. Pull your toes back towards you, and then rotate the entire leg going to the inside. So big toe going over to the inside. You should feel that whole leg pressurized. I'm gonna draw circles here. So I want you to go as far up and out as you can. while staying relatively vertical. Just really feel the top of the quad starting to light up here. So you're rolling through these. Again, you just did a handful, and that's awesome. Let's switch directions. Good, starting to feel kind of pump in the lower legs there. I'm gonna bring it back to neutral, regain your balance if you need to. Standing nice and tall, gonna send it out to the side. Again, pressurizing the leg, getting a little bit of rotation in there. Should feel everything kind of light up. We're gonna do the same thing, just circles out to the side. So it should get away from the front of your thigh and move up and kind of to the side now. One thing I like about this warm-up a lot is it will build proprioception in your body. And proprioception is basically just your body's awareness of where you are at in space. Very good skills to have. I think that's about enough in one direction. We'll switch directions. Now also passively warming up your stabilizing leg, because now this has to work to keep you upright. Good, we can take a brief pause here, regain your balance. Now we're gonna kind of hinge forward a little bit as we send that same leg back, and you're gonna make circles behind you. So again, still flexing your toes back towards your body. That's when you might feel a little bit of stretch in the front, but you feel a lot of pump in the back, in the glutes. Again, you can kind of lean forward as much as you need to avoid hitting the ground. After a handful, go ahead and switch directions. Beautiful. Front to the side and back. Now let's switch legs, because that stabilizing leg has been putting in a lot of work. Again, we're just going to do circles to the front, pressurizing the entire leg. So pushing down with your heel, pulling back with your toes. Some tricks with balance. You can send the opposite side arm out to help with that. You could stare at a point on the ground, stare at a point on the wall. Whatever you need to do to balance is fine, as long as you're getting that engagement in your lower body. Let's switch directions. Good, not losing pressure in that foot as we're rolling through these circles. And then we'll go out to the side. Again, going as far out and forward and back as you can while maintaining relatively vertical stance. And we'll switch directions. After we've already rotated the heck out of the other leg, how does it feel now that it's balancing? Good, now we'll hinge forward so we can go back. Get the good glute pump moving the whole leg. And then we'll switch directions. Awesome. Moving back to our first side leg there, we're gonna bring the knee up to a 90. Again, toes back towards you. Gonna rotate at the hip the entire leg, swing it out and around and back through to starting position, and then we're gonna retrace our steps. Let's do it backwards. So send the heel back, bring it up and over and around. Think how you would kind of step over like a baby gate. Every time you get back to the starting position, retracing your steps. And just going to your end range. Good, since we switch directions each time, we don't have to do it all at once. So we'll just switch legs, again, bring it up to the 90, flexing the toes back towards you, rotating that leg as we send it back and around and up through, and then retracing our steps each time. Again, trying to keep the relationship of the upper body relatively neutral. So you're not leaning into it as you're coming up and around and over, but just rotating at the hip. Fantastic. We just beat the hell out of them hips. Should be feeling really good now. Now we're gonna go down to the knees. So back to our starting position of about hip width apart here. Inside lines of the feet tracking parallel. I want you to bring your knees in like you gotta pee. Then bring your knees in like you really, really, really gotta pee, getting a little bit lower. And then you're gonna roll out of it, a little bow-legged. And around. So it's okay if the inside and outside lines of your feet come up a little bit for this. Just make sure that you're stable and your ankles are happy as you do so. Through any of this, if you are experiencing pain, that is your body telling you to chill, take it easy. Maybe don't do that. So do what you can to your own end range as long as you are not experiencing pain. Just like every other thing that we've rotated, then we'll switch directions. So next time you're down here, giving a big squeeze, you rotate it back. Just like that. Now I'm trying to make circles with my knees, but my upper body is only going up and down. So think like a bobber. It's good. This is getting into the knees, but also the ankles. Really good bang for your buck. And then the next part of that is actually bringing your feet in together. So if you're like me and there's a lot of contact there and you feel your ankle bones kind of rubbing together, that's a bit much and not that much fun. So as long as your feet are in tight and you're not rubbing bone on bone, now we're going to do the knees together instead of making opposite circles. So again, you notice my collarbones are staying parallel to the ground. My upper body is just going up and down as my knees are making a rotation. So if you come up onto the sides of your feet a little bit, that's totally fine. Like I said, as long as your ankles are happy. But speaking of those ankles, that's what's next. So now, everything we've done has been either a narrow stance or hip width stance. We're actually gonna go pretty wide for this one. And you could angle your feet out kind of whatever's comfortable for you, as long as when we go into a side lunge, that your knees are in alignment with your toes. So you don't want knees trying to go forward as your toes are pointing outwards. That's not very much fun. For this, we will move to the left. So most of your weight should be on your left leg. And on your right foot, this is a really good one to do without shoes. You're gonna go to the side of your foot on the big toe side. Move up to the tip of your toe. And then you're gonna roll toenails down over each one of the little piggly wigglies there. Almost like we're practicing rolling our ankle. You go back up to the tip of your toe, to the side of your foot. Now plant that foot as we switch to the other side. So again, side of your foot, tip of your toe, and toenails down, sole of your foot up. This is a wonderful move to do if you are getting ready to run, whether that's on a treadmill or outside. If you are going to trail run or go for a hike, this is another really good one for preparing your tissues for if something happens. Now you don't want to roll your ankle. I don't feel like anyone wants to. But if it happens, then you want your nervous system to know that that is an acceptable range of motion. You don't have kind of a jerk tensing response, which is how a lot of injury occurs. If we could prevent injury, it would never happen. So instead of trying to prevent injury, just trying to mitigate injury as you go through life. So again, just kind of rolling through these ones Almost done. Do last one. There you go. That concludes our warm-up, at least for this video. We could dive into the individual joints and tissues for days and days and days, but this is what I've compiled together of what I've found as the most bang for your buck as far as movement versus time. Like I said in the beginning, this doesn't have to be done start to finish for it to be wildly effective for you. So sprinkle this throughout the day as you see fit. If you spend a lot of time at your desk doing chest flexions, kind of correct that, doing the neck mobility throughout the day. You know, if you have long commutes, anything like that, if you have tight hips, being able to send it back and do a circle. If you feel tightness or tension anywhere, use these movements to send love, oxygen, and blood into those areas of your body, especially if you're gonna start a workout. So thank you so much for following along. I hope you found value in this. Please work this into your practice, and as you develop a relationship with it, it will continue to pay you back in massive ways. See you next time.